You and I, we were meant to be. I feel it in my soul. Feel it in my soul.
When we can look back now, I feel like God had his hand at every step. My name is Bishline, and I grew up actually in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and moved to Missouri after Dave and I met. We met working at a summer camp in Southwest Missouri called Camp Artemis. It's a camp for children with disabilities.
My name is David Bishline. I'm from the St. Louis area. We met at Camp Artemis, as she said. We had our 3 sons. We have our oldest is Joshua. He's 13. We have an 11-year-old in Luke, and we have a 9-year-old in Tim. I think I brought up the idea first. Is that your recollection?
Yeah.
And I think I said, I feel kind of led. I've always kind of had that inkling, I think, maybe adoption being part of our family. And I remember we were at dinner once, or breakfast, and I said, hey, I think I'm kind of feeling led to maybe adopt.
In our own minds, we felt like we would have our own biological children first. And so after we had Timothy, we started talking about it, but the kids were really little and they're kind of close together. And so we felt really I don't know. It's all about like timing, right? So it took a while to make it feel like the right time.
Yeah.
When we started it, we didn't know, is it foster care? Is it domestic? Is it international? We actually looked at each one of them.
And then eventually it was China and Korea, and then the lady was like, hey, China's, really, really low. Like, it takes a long time, time-wise, and so Korea just fit. I said, well, I have 2 Korean aunts. I said, what a great opportunity.
When we finally decided, it felt perfect.
I think it was December 30th. You called me like, Dave, we got a placement. I was like, oh my gosh. And so she was at a neighbor's house, ran home, and we opened up the dossier or the email together, and we see a picture of her. And all Korean kids, their first picture, she's about 6 months old. She's in a chair. Not any chair,
like
a golden throne chair. It's a golden throne chair, and she's this chubby little thing, and just like, why am I in this chair? And that's what all Korean adoptees, I don't know, at least in this area, so I'm like, there's our princess.
So we would send care packages once a month, and then they would send us an update. So we would get an update, and the update would be like how much she weighs, how tall she is, how many teeth she has, and a couple of pictures. But then when she was 9 months, they sent a video of her taking some steps, and that was really neat. And we're like, oh my gosh, she's 9 months and she's walking. Like, it was so cool. But you see her little legs. It was really, really cool.
We would send notes in the care package. I remember it was like, it has to enter this a certain amount. I'd wait in line for 45 minutes to send a package at the post office, and for $70 for like a $20 item.
Yeah.
But we would send like clothes and like toothbrushes and what else did we send?
Yeah, we'd send pictures. And that was helpful. I think we sent some videos too.
Oh, we'd send videos. That was the big thing. That's another story that we'll get into.
Yeah.
We would send short videos on YouTube, and I would always check, I'd get on there, has she looked at him? Has she looked at him? Yeah, we weren't allowed to Zoom or anything like that. We'd send letters to the foster mom, and they're very specific. You can't ask them to do this, or this.
Yeah.
Can't ask them to put a bed at a certain time, can't tell them a diet. There was all sorts of rules and regulations.
We just wanted her to know that, we were thinking of them, and we love her already, and we're praying for them, and we appreciated her, and all that she did and how she cared for her. The thought of everything was really overwhelming, and then there was the communication barrier between us and her foster mom. But I remember seeing her and waving, and
she was like, who are these white kids?
Yeah, and we were not familiar faces to her, and our faces looked very different than people she sees in her everyday life. So that first visit was a lot of us trying to make interaction happen, and she just really sat back, and she has a pretty shy personality, and that really shone through at that time.
I just remember you so badly want to give her a hug and tell her you love her. but you can't. And then I remember we tried so hard. We had finger puppets, and we had bubbles, and we had balls, and we had toys. And finally, though, I was on my knees. I'm bent fully over, and she handed me a block, and that was a major breakthrough.
It was that was the best part of the visit.
And I'm like, she handed me the block. But I would say the second visit, she did allow us to give her food, and she handed me some things. And there's even at one point I had my arm. I was able to. She was watching a video, and I was like, just slightly, but. It was hard because we would leave and we'd talk to other families. Oh, he sat in my lap. She did this. And I'm like, oh, she wouldn't even look at us in the face. You try not to, you can be, but it is there.
We had to keep that faith. This was another one of those times where we had to keep our faith in the process and what people were telling us. And the adoption experts we talked about would say her secure attachment to her foster mother is a great sign for you guys that she'll securely attach to you guys.
Finally, we get the information we're COVID free, so we can go get her. Then we stopped and got flowers for foster mom. And then you're there. And you're there with other families. And then you have to sign quite a bit of paperwork. There's probably 5 or 7 things to sign.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my gosh, you're just sweating because you just arrived in Korea 36 hours ago. And you're just like, oh my gosh, here it is. This is going to be it. And we prayed with another family and the founder, not founder, the director. And unceremoniously, you go outside, foster mom's there, they kind of hand her to you, and you get in the cab and you leave. It was really unceremonious.
Yeah. It's like rip the Band-Aid off and go.
Here you go. And so I give her to you, and she's just bawling. Just crying. It was like a cry that we know now. That's like
the taxi driver was trying to sing songs to make her feel better.
This guy's in the front oh, no. And I'm like, all right, man, thanks a lot. We appreciate you trying. That was good. And so I took her, and this is a moment I'll never forget. I took her, and she's like, I don't want you either. You have masks on. You have masks on. And I take her, and I pull out my phone, and I play a video of me and my youngest son fishing that we had sent to her, and she stopped. And I was like, you could tell that she made that, she looked at you, and then she looked up at me, and then she looked back at the phone. And she made that connection that you're not total strangers, you're just strangers. And so, but that was a special moment that I'll have with her forever, and she looked at me, and she just put her head on my chest, and she just started to you could feel, I didn't believe this from people, you could feel the sadness in their body. You could feel it you are literally ripping away from her, this trauma, and something you don't really believe until you see it. It was like trauma living, that you were taking her away from all that she's ever known since she was 6 months old. Not even that, I think 3 months, 8 weeks or something like that. But then she just put her head on my chest, and we just rode the rest of the way home.
When we landed in St. Louis, the boys came to meet us at the airport with his parents, and it was like the minute she saw the boys, especially we have a picture of her locking eyes with our youngest son, Timothy, and it was good. It was so good. It was like everything they had this instant connection, and
with the youngest one especially.
It was so different from there on out.
So she's home, and we go for a walk. I have a picture of her. It was carpeted here at the time, where the kids, of course, my kids are like, well, she's home, time to start screaming again. And they're just screaming. They're just being 3 rowdy boys. And I remember, oh my gosh, she's going to get all freaked out. No. She's like, oh.
The noise didn't bother her at all, which was amazing.
And I got her to smile right here. She finally felt, I think whenever we got home, she felt comfortable. And she smiled and giggled and laughed. I remember I got a picture of her in the shirt we brought her home in. And it was just, with our boys, it really made it a lot easier.
Yeah. When you accept a referral with Korea, it's like a payment. It was $21,000, and that was the payment that Bree's gift was able to cover for us. The relief was actually incomprehensible.
We were literally moments away.
Yeah.
Having to figure out, and then that was,
yeah.
I can't, it really is, I don't cry, but I kind of did cry. It was a special moment. It was just something that was a godsend, it was just a blessing. You knew at that moment, that God was like, hey, this is cool, we got you.
I always felt like it was very personal. Jenny, you were always very personal. You reached out to me, and it was you. I feel like with Bree's gift, it's your passion, and I'm talking to you guys, and the fact that you would reach out and how are you doing? How's everything going? How's the process? How's your family? How are the kids? You know, just it was that extra step of like caring for us as a family. When we think about the organizations that helped us in the adoption process, the ones that I would say remain with us are the ones that cared for us as our whole family. A lot of times in life you're going through things and you find yourself, like I remember finding myself like looking for God. Oh, I can look back and it's because there's hard moments and but now I have the perspective to kind of, you know, you can see where it ended up and see his hand in each of those times. Like I remember feeling this is going to take forever. This is going to take forever. But then each of those steps I think was perfectly timed, like for her to come to us and for us to be a family.
Never ceasing, our love grows ever increasing. I won't let you go. We were made for each other.